Hi Liam, that was a difficult afternoon obviously. What's your reaction to the performance and just the general mood and atmosphere around today?
Not good. Not good. I think said this too many times. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm going to be repeating myself. I think just too nice. I think the whole place, everything's just too nice. I think we have to change that and create that edge, and we need people to step up and own it and take responsibility for it. And like I said, when I look at it, we played some nice stuff, but with nothing at the end of it. No conviction. Two good chances we don't take, put it straight at the keeper. Moments where we miss a pass to Sarge first half, miss another one second half, where we get in half decent areas and get good control, and then there's a lack of quality at the end of it. And that for me is the bits that if you want to be successful, you want to win games at this level, you have to be ruthless. And that for me is the bit where, like I say, we can have all the plans, we can do all the work, we can talk tactics, structures, but the second the game starts, you've got to have people that are really hungry to go and win a game of football. And that for me at the minute in a tough atmosphere is where it's quite easy to go hide in and go under. And that I thought too many people did that today.
And the goal, what was your take on that?
Soft, like at most goals we concede. I think that's probably the frustrating thing I've said about being nice. That the opposite of that is obviously being tough, right? And I think it's tough to concentrate for 100 minutes at this level. The intensity of the games, the physicality, the biggest bit, the level of focus that you need, to not give up chances. And if you look at the goal, soft free kick, switch off, back of our net, and that's kind of the story where we're at the minute. We've created some great stuff to get into an area where Emmy puts one at the keeper, Stace has one on the back post. We don't score off good play. And then we go and gift goals away by switching off or by, for me being soft. So, the goal, said it too many times, too many games we've given away cheap goals.
The fans made some comments about your brand of football. Is it your brand of football or is it the players who are at fault? I'm not asking you to actually blame the players for everything, but they must carry some of the responsibility surely for the position.
Yeah, of course, it's the collective. I'm not going to sit here and throw people under the bus, right? I think I think the biggest bit, I said it from when I came in, do I want us to play square and sideways loads? No. I want us to have purpose. I think the plan, obviously I know the opposition extremely well, was to try and exploit space behind them, which if you actually look, the 3 or 4 times we did it first half, I thought we caused them problems with Mate down the side early on. Then there was Kenny hit a couple of diags, one to Oscar, another one to Sarge, we had a couple of times, but when you then don't score and the pressure mounts and the atmosphere mounts, that's where you need people to step up and be brave and go and own it and go and take risk and keep asking the question. That's probably the bit that disappointed me when we were behind it. We just became too passive, too nice with the ball. Didn't ask enough questions. Didn't have enough people crashing into the box and asking questions. So whether that's from me, not making messages clear enough, or whether it's from the players being brave enough to do it, I think leave it there.
Are the fans fair to level some criticism of the sporting director in terms of the squad that's been built and being fit for purpose for you? Because I think it's 1 point off the bottom 3 and 2 points off the bottom of the table. And the figure I heard over the last, there's 55 million plus potentially has been spent. It's the figure that's been touted. Has the sporting director, as well as the players and yourself, got to take some of the responsibility for the position that I've just outlined?
Well, yeah, we will have to, because we're not in the position that any of us want to be in, right? I think that, look, money doesn't guarantee success, because we spent that, but we've sold quite a lot of talent as well, right, to get that money to spend. So I think there's a whole host of factors, whether it be elements of the recruitment, whether it be elements of the coaching, whether it be players not stepping up, whether it be injuries. There's a whole host of factors that go into where we're at, and none of us will shy away from the fact we're not where we want to be. We're not doing well enough, and all of us will own that. And that for me is the biggest bit. No one's going to hide away, but all you can keep doing is fighting and working and trying to change it that way, which, I know people behind the scenes will keep doing. I know Ben will do that. I know Ben hurts like I do, and I know he'll be in first thing with me tomorrow morning trying to change it, and that's what we have to do.
Have you got, last question for me, have you got the squad that you want and you feel can take you toward where you want to be, playing for a playoff place or better? Have you got the squad you need?
Of course, when you make the volume of transition in the summer, it's going to take. Yeah, there's obviously more room for error, right? When you have the volume of change that we had, but I think what doesn't help is having a whole host of injuries. I think in terms of managing people or not being able to use competition to drive it. If someone's not performing, being able to change it and go, right, you're in because you're not stepping up and doing it. And I think that there's been challenges along that. The good thing is we've got in the next this coming week and then the week after, we've got another 3 or 4 bodies back, which I think is huge. And that's it. We've got a lot to do.
Where is that urgency and bravery that you called for the game? As you say, I mean, your comments reaffirm it today. That just wasn't there in that performance.
No, not enough. Not enough. Hence, like I said, I thought a few times we were brave enough to play depth. We caused them problems, and then we kind of chase control a little bit, which you're always fighting that. It's impossible to attack every single minute you got the ball, right? You have to have elements where you control it, but what you don't want to be doing when you're keeping it and controlling the game is be passive, and that's what I felt we become. We didn't, we missed opportunities to play forward. We missed opportunities, not just to pass the ball forward, but to run forward. I think it's all well saying about playing square and back, but you got to have people that want to run forward, and that for me, when you look at it, we didn't have enough of that. We weren't brave enough to do it, and we have a lot to do on that.
It's clearly stating the obvious, but when you've lost 6 games at home here, the confidence there, it looks drained out of those players. How do you get that back in? Is it personnel changes have to come in now?
Hence the injury piece. I think having some people back will definitely help that. And elements of it. I just spoke to the lads in there and just said they need to look in-house. I think that's the biggest bit. There's a few that have got to just look internally more and stop waiting for it to happen. And I think that's the biggest bit for me. We'll give them absolutely everything, but ultimately the second that the game starts, I can't play it for them. I can't do everything for them. So, look, we said it today before. We have a plan, but the second the whistle goes, it's on you as a collective trying to then go and not execute the plan, but find a way to win. And that was the biggest message today. You have to find a way. Plans are great. The opposition then change what they do. So I can't then stop the game after 20 minutes and go, right, start doing this. That's where you need people to step up, people to take responsibility, people to be, brave in those situations. And the bit I keep coming back to is to be tough. We have to be tougher.
I mean, from externally, whenever you've spoken about this, it feels like you have shown a lot of patience towards this group of players, that it is a process and that maybe you're asking them to do different things that the ones who were here before are having to take on board. But, you must have lost patience with a few of these players now because they're not producing week in, week out. And it's you, clearly, as the man who's front and centre, who's going to get it in the neck from the supporters.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll own it. I'll own my performance, but that's hence my point afterwards. I think there's a few that need to own theirs as well. And again, I think I don't think knowing the lads, I don't think we've got any in there that don't want to do well. But I think it's then knowing what you have to do well, and that's to take yourself out of your comfort zone. That's to, like I keep coming back to, behaviour things. It's not about always getting it right or wrong. It's about actually showing purpose and intent. And of course, at this level, the ratios of quality, getting things right to wrong have to be a lot better than what they are. But for me, it's more just showing the fight and the edge and the nastiness, which we don't have at the minute.
I had to ask you after Ipswich, do you feel you will get the time to do this, to turn this around?
That's not on me, right? All I'll keep doing is keep my head down, keep working, keep fighting, keep pushing the players, keep giving absolutely everything, and that's the only thing that will change it until I'm told otherwise.
It does feel, though, and you will sense this, I'm sure, there is a tipping point for a lot of them fans that they've had enough. They've had enough of what they're seeing on the pitch, maybe had enough with you, maybe even had enough higher up, as Tony says. They've vocalised it towards the members of the executive today. What can you say to those people?
I get it. I don't think anything I say to those people is going to help them change what they feel. So my words are probably aren't going to have huge impact on it. So for me, I get it.
Just on in terms of your selections today, no Mahovo. What can you tell us there, Liam?
Yeah, it's again frustrating. I think in terms of he had quite a big surgery, right? In terms of on his quad, and reintegrated him, built him up, over a solid period of time, and it's not a huge re-injury, but just felt something a little bit in a similar area. So it's one where we just have to be careful because of the type of surgery he had. So, like I said, it's nothing major. It's just one that we're having to keep an eye on due to the risk of a potential re-injury.
So, in terms of, is that just a precautionary measure, or he's going to be out for maybe 1 or 2 games before you just assess him?
Yeah, he actually scanned yesterday, so we actually need to get the definitive result and plans. I spoke to Bert's this morning about it, and it's one of those. It's not a huge injury. It's just a small thing in a similar area. It's actually underneath it. So I have to see Bert's after. My focus has been on trying to get today right, knowing that obviously didn't have Lucien available. So and that's obviously when people pick up such big injuries. As much as I'd love to have him available because I thought he did well in the 2 appearances, and I think he's someone that's got a really exciting future. yeah, you can't be reckless either.
Cheers.
Good, everybody. Thank you.
Cheers.